The Hall of Fame Committee has met every year since 1984, before some of you were born, to decide which award, if any, would be presented. The committee looks at the nominee's history of involvement and impact on the local industry, on HAA, our state, and our national associations and our community. As a result, the committee has selected a very deserving 28th Hall of Fame Award honoree. We are fortunate to have a leader like Vic, and it is such an honor to induct him in the HAA Hall of Fame.
Howdy, I'm an Aggie. I cannot tell you how honored I am to stand in front of you today and to talk a little bit about my dad. I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd get an opportunity like this except for like a eulogy. So Dad, thank you for the opportunity to do this with you here, because you mean a lot to me, and you mean a lot to my brother. Trent and I probably didn't realize it growing up, but we definitely won the lottery with our mom and dad. They were incredible parents. That the older we get, the better we know that they were amazing, amazing people. And there's a saying that says, my father didn't tell me how to live. He lived and let me watch him do it. And that is true of Vacek. You see, he taught us how to run the race of life so incredibly well. And I'm going to be brief, but I wanted to share really quickly 4 things that I learned from him in running the race of life. The first is that in the morning, you should say hello, but at night, you should say your prayers. You see, in the morning, my dad would go each day, he would leave the house probably 4:30 in the morning, and he would go to Memorial Park most days to jog. And on some of those days, he would stay home, and as I got older, I got to run with him. And I remember the very first time we were running, someone came past us, and it was almost like a game to him. Morning! You know, and I'm like, whoa, Dad, what was that? He said, you need to say hello to everyone you pass by, you know. And so it became a game of morning to people, and then I tried to, hey, good morning, you know, like beat him to the punch, but it never seemed to work. The reason he loved to say hello is because he loved people. And he wanted people to feel important, even before sunrise. So in the morning we should say hello, but at night we needed to say our prayers. And that was something I can vividly remember, was just praying with him, with Mom, with my brother. But it was a daily occurrence because my parents were people of faith. The second thing I learned in running the race of life well from my dad is just that you need to work hard. And if you know Vic Vacek, you know the man works hard. If he's not up at his office, he's out at the family farm. And he is constantly doing something. I think he takes pride in getting more done by 9 a.m. than I get done all day. But it happens repeatedly, and he's much older than me. The third thing that I've learned about running the race of life from my dad was just to not take yourself too seriously. You know, Dad recently went through, well not recently, it's almost a decade ago now, went through a very serious battle against colon cancer. He made it through. But there was a day in May of that year that we all thought we were going to lose him. And I just remember, even in his weakest moments, he would laugh. He would make you laugh. And a lot of times, the butt of the joke was himself. And I wish I had time to share the details, but there was one moment at the hospital right next door to us where I thought my brother was going to pass out because of something my dad did that was quite hilarious, but not appropriate for a luncheon. And so, the final thing that I want to share is that my dad and my mom, but my dad especially, has taught us to be generous. That is a part of the race of life. But at the heart of our generosity should be love. And I mentioned that there are people of faith, and no matter what background you come from, you have probably seen in a football game, John 3:16, where it says, for God so loved the world that he gave. At the heart of God's generosity towards mankind is grace, but it's also love. And you see, I saw that model day in and day out by Vic Vacek. And I just want to tell one story in closing. We had moved to Austin, Texas. It was 2006. And we had purchased a home that needed new blinds. And there was a vendor here in the Houston area that was a friend of my father. And of course, he knows many of you and many vendors. And he said, you need to buy the blinds from this gentleman. Well, for my occupation, I'm a minister. And every once in a while, people are very generous towards us. And so I was trying to figure out, one, when I was going to get the invoice to pay for the blinds. But two, the bigger problem was, how am I going to get these delivered? Because I was too cheap to pay for the delivery from Houston to Austin. Well, I'm at my office, and I get a call. It's an afternoon, Thursday afternoon, and he's like, Trae, what are you up to? I'm like, I'm at work. I'm at the office. He said, when are you getting the blinds? And I'm like, I'm going to try to do that this weekend. We had just closed on the house. He said, no, I'll take care of it for you. And I'm like, no, Dad, you don't need to take care of it. I'm going to take care of it. I'm manly enough to go get the blinds. It's all good. He said, no, I'm going to take care of it. In fact, I'm in Austin right now in the truck with the blinds, and I'm going by your office. True story. So when you get to the house, he's there, we're unloading the blinds. I said, did he give you an invoice? He goes, oh, no. I think he wanted to give them to you. And I'm like, really? But again, I'm in ministry, sometimes that happens. But I didn't ask questions. Well, about a few years ago, so we've been there 17 years. A few years ago, he goes, or maybe it was my mom who fessed up. She goes, I said, did Jim give us those blinds? He goes, oh no, your dad paid for them. At the heart of his generosity is his love. And I could not be more honored to be, as I know my brother Trent, the son of Diane and Vic Vacek, who have run the race of life so incredibly well and have modeled love and generosity and laughter and hard work in a way that I could not be more grateful for. So glad, Dad, I'm glad you're here, and I could do this now. But I love you, and I love Mom, I love you, and I'm so thankful. Congratulations.
Last time I did this was for Mr. Larry Hill. I think he used the same line. First there was Babe Ruth, then Joe DiMaggio, now Vic Vacek. Hall of Fame. Awesome. What can I say about Vic that hasn't been said about the DA's office? When Vic asked me to speak, I was touched. I figured this way was a chance to get back at you for all the harassment you've given me over the years. But, I asked people about stories and all that. I asked one of my partners, Vic, he's still alive? And I said, well, I'm pretty good at something funny, funny stories, but, Vic, you're just not that funny. The reality. However, when I thought about it, I realized what an influence Vic has been on my career, personally. It's really hard to say anything negative about the guy. Oh well. I've known Vic for my entire career, 37 years, and he was actually a client of our firm, you maybe remember this, before I was ever there. He knew people, he knew my partners before I ever knew them. I've always enjoyed working with Vic on not only legal stuff, but association matters. We even went to, and Diana remembers this, we went to Las Vegas together for the Las Vegas Marathon. Vic ran the half. To know Vic is to love Vic. There are several words I use to describe Vic. He's hardworking and in touch, as Trae mentioned. Vic is he's always there to be contacted, whether it's at the farm, whether it's in Dallas, whether it's in Houston. I know he's just a cell phone call away, and he always answers. He's loyal. This should go without saying for a guy who's been at the same company for over 4 decades. The same wife for over 5 decades. Several employees that I met, some of them today, multiple decades, multiple years. And he's been with AJ for over 40 years. He's had numerous longtime friends and colleagues. Many of you are in this room. He's tough but sensitive. Sometimes Vic comes off as Yosemite Sam, shooting from the hip, especially during litigation. We're going to talk about that. But he's always quick to ask. Whenever he calls me, I know to set aside a certain amount of time for how am I doing, how my family's doing, how other lawyers that he knows in the office are doing. I mean, the fact is, the guy really cares. Sometimes it's annoying, but he cares. And that's the kind of guy Vic is. He's a mentor. Vic is willing to always mentor the next generation of owners and operators and colleagues, whether the mentoring is in real estate, association issues, or running. Even earlier today, he gave me medical advice, and I appreciate that. I'll get a bill in the morning. Above all, Vic's a friend. I always feel a sense of comfort, and this is absolutely from the heart. When I walk into a meeting and Vic's there, I just know there's a guy that's going to have my back. He's going to argue with me, but he's always going to be truthful. He's going to always show integrity. And it's a sense of comfort to know that he's there, and I know I'll have someone to talk to at the meeting. Vic, it's an honor to be asked to speak on your behalf. Thanks for listening. Congrats, Vic. Congrats, Diane. Congrats, Trae and Trae. Thank you.
Dick Vacek talked me into joining HAA back in the 80s. And when I first met him, he was a good guy. And knowledgeable and good. I even liked him more when I found out that he was from Weimar, Texas. Weimar, for those of you who don't know, is on Interstate 10, halfway between here and San Antonio. Schulenburg, Texas is a couple miles down the road, and that's where my wife Susie's from. Good people. Vic and I and Dick Lamarche used to always sit together at the legislative and political meetings. And one thing we did count on, we almost always agreed with what we were doing. And that was fun. Vic also talked me into getting on the chain of board of directors. And anytime I had questions about the industry or business, Vic was always there. He was always answering. I've also found Vic to be a very loyal person, loyal to his God in church, his family, his company, and HAA. He spent a lot of time on the Apartment Association. I usually tell a joke, but I'm not going to today. I want to tell you everything about loyalty. I had a construction company that was asked to build a small office building by a couple of professionals. I won't say which. But I was to build it, finance it, and they had all their friends who were going to lease it. The problem is I got it built, and I got it financed. They forgot. They didn't bring their friends. So there I am with an empty office building. Who did I call? Vic. I need help. Vic got his sons involved, Trent, and got the building leased up and moved on down the road. This Apartment Association Hall of Fame Award is a big deal, especially to those of us who have received it. I can't say enough about what it means to all of us. So with that, it is my pleasure and privilege on behalf of the Houston Apartment Association to present the 2023 Hall of Fame Award to Mr. Vic Vacek.
In the past 2 weeks, I've been sad and happy. Last week, I lost a friend who worked for me for 38 years. Dan and I worked together, and it's emotionally upsetting to me. The exciting part is that we also had a chance to prepare for the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Trae. By the way, my son just got back from Kenya last week. Howard, thanks a lot. You know, I know you build in 15-minute increments. Please don't build for this. Larry, it's great having you a past partner. It's good to have you here. Susie, very, very nice. I'd like to thank the HOA staff, President Graves, officers, executive committee, and also the Hall of Fame members who paved the way for me. The week of September the 18th to the 22nd, I couldn't figure out why Sarah my administrative assistant, kept nagging me. In fact, I was in Dallas that week too. You gotta be in the office Friday at 10:15. Right. Insurance meeting. It's not that important. So, on Friday at 10:15, she comes into the office and she says she's here. So naturally, when you have a meeting, you go to a conference room and discuss things. So, anyway, I walk in the conference room and Sarah says, no. What do you mean? She's in a reception area. What's she doing there? So I walk out, and here is Ken, Jerry, and Gary in Madison. I was taken back. I was shocked. I had no idea this was taking place. In fact, I think I got tears in my eyes. But make a long story short, they gave me balloons and wine. The wine was great. But you know, guys, the balloons are still inflated. How do you guys put up? I would like to introduce my lovely wife, Trae and Melissa, my granddaughter, Michaela, Texas A&M, Miriam, who's not here, who's had a conflict with a special project at A&M, and Mariah. Sorry, I missed those two. Too many M's, guys. Miriam's at Pepperdine, Mariah's at A&M at a conflict. Ty at Hill Country Christian School, where he had a conflict with basketball. Trent and Carl Vacek, and Trent works for the company. Kyle at Marine Academy, and Katie and Mason at the same place. My sister, Donna, and her husband, Ron, Jeanette and Ken Walla, my sister and brother-in-law, and Linda Ullman, my sister-in-law. The CMI team is a very, very good team. Thank you, staff. Many of you have been here for 30 years. I could not have done this without y'all. The team comes together when there's a crisis. You know, when there's a hurricane, a storm, I don't have to worry about people not working. They show up and work. Thanks, Sarah and Delinda, for working with HA staff and doing a good job on preparing me for this. I'd like to recognize Mr. Paul Heiberger, who's been here 15, who was at HA 15 years. Mr. Jeff Hall, you're a lifer, 36. And Andy was supposed to show up, but he didn't show up. That's okay. They served the association very, very well. And now Casey stepped in their shoes, and she's done an outstanding job. I'd like to congratulate Susan Hinckley for the Texas Department Association Community Service Star Award. Susan's always in the background. You know, she hides, she does a heck of a job. She's a very, very wonderful person to deal with, and I've known Susan a long time. In 1999, when I was president, Paul Heiberger was executive director, and I believe this was the 5th or 6th meeting. We had a board meeting at the Adams Mark Hotel. A lot of you guys were there. And we had a long agenda, as usual, and a lot of motions, a lot of objections, and a lot of discussion. And everything quieted down. I said, any more discussion? And nothing happened. So I said, meeting adjourned. Well, Paul leaned over and said, Vic, 42 minutes, faster than we had. During my tenure in business, we've handled properties that were distressed, and we've handled properties that were great. And with good help, good employees, good contractors, that many of them are here at the association, we've been able to make a lot of money for the owners, and we've satisfied their goals and objectives. For many people that are in this organization that have not joined yet, join a committee, get involved. You know, people look at the association, you know, as a leader in the state of Texas and also in the country. I would encourage y'all to take or get involved with committees, and it's been going strong for 63 years. Many associations want to patent the Houston Apartment Association, so get involved. Now, I want to dedicate Hall of Fame, to my wife, my sweetheart, and my soulmate, Diane Fraser Vacek. 8,000 thanks goes to God for bringing us together. Proverbs 18:22 says, "He who finds a wife finds good things and obtains favor from the Lord." I could have not done this without Diane, besides me, encouraging me and being my sounding board, my ever-loving sweetheart. Thanks again for being my friend and besides me. I want to close with the following comment from Walter Payton. There's a lot. I am going to close by saying life is short. It is so sweet. There are a lot of people that we meet as we walk through the hollow halls. But one thing, the most important thing is a friendship you take with you. And thank you so much for being here today.